Yeah, the 1972 Eagles were short on talent, but they also had some bad luck. They had 1 win and 6 losses heading into Week 8 when they also caught some good luck when normally reliable Jim Bakken missed a short 27-yard field goal with 17 seconds remaining to assure a 6-6 tie. The Oilers only had 1 win against 7 losses heading into Week 9's Eagles matchup. Kicker Skip Butler had beaten out Tom Dempsey, the 1972 Eagles kicker, out of the 1971 Saints kicking job. With 16 seconds left in the game, Butler attempted a 43-yard field goal with the Oilers down 18-17. Tom Dempsey's 6 field goals accounted for all of the Eagles' scoring. The Eagles lost the next 5 games when they scored a total of only 59 points, but surrendered a whopping 158 points. Prior to 1972, only 11 AFL or NFL teams had scored less than 200 points in a 14-game season. The 1972 Eagles broke that record for the least offensive points scored in a 14-game season with only 145. The 1970 Boston Patriots had held the record with 149. The Eagles' record didn't hold on for very long as the 1974 Falcons smashed it by only scoring 111 points. Prior to the start of the 1972 season, Eagles owner Leonard Toews predicted that his team would win 12 games and a championship. Instead, his team scored the fewest points ever in a 14-game season. In 10 of the 14 games, the Eagles either scored only 1 touchdown or no touchdowns. All footage shown is from the 1972 season, so let's get after it. Why the team owner went out on a limb with his outrageous prediction is anyone's guess, but there was no basis for it, since the Eagles finished the 1971 season with only a 6-win, 7-loss, and 1-tie record. In 1972, they finished with a 2-win, 11-loss, 1-tie record. Both wins were by only 1 point. Oh, and they lost all 6 of their preseason games, too. They only scored 12 offensive touchdowns in the regular season, and only 4 of them went for more than 20 yards. They didn't exactly have a big play offense, even though they did have terrific wide receivers in Harold Jackson, Harold Carmichael, and Ben Hawkins. Only 1 day after the end of the regular season, the team owner canned the head coach, the general manager Pete Retzlaff, offensive coordinator Tom Fears, and the quarterback coach John Roush, who was the Raiders head coach from 1966 through 1968, as well as the Bills head coach in 1969 and 1970. He posted a 7-win, 20-loss, 1-tie record in Buffalo. Tom Fears was drafted as a defensive back in the 11th round of the 1945 NFL Draft. He's the first Mexican-born player to be drafted into the NFL. In a 1950 game against the Packers, he had 18 receptions. Twice he held the single-season receptions record with 77 in 1949 and with 84 in 1950. Not only was he the Saints' first head coach in team history, but also the World Football League's Southern California Suns' first head coach. He was also the director of player personnel for the USFL's LA Express from 1983 through 1985. Pete Lisk started at quarterback during Week 1 and 2. He was a long shot to make the NFL, played in the CFL for Toronto in 1965, hooked up with Calgary in 1966, and that's where he hit it big. He parlayed that success into a free agent contract with the Denver Broncos in 1968. He was extremely average for them and was traded to the Eagles for a 1972 draft choice in 1971. In 7 games started, he threw 3 touchdowns and 6 interceptions. Lisk was pulled from the Week 2 game against the Browns in the third quarter, with the Eagles losing 27-0. Number 6, John Reaves replaced him. Reaves started games 3 through 5, but Lisk regained the starting quarterback job in Week 6 after the Rams clobbered the Eagles 34-3 at Philadelphia in Week 5. Lisk started in Week 6 through Week 10, but the Cowboys knocked him out of the game early in Week 10, and Reaves became the starter for the remainder of the season. In 7 games as a starter, Reaves threw 6 touchdowns against 8 interceptions. Between the two quarterbacks, they tossed 10 touchdown passes on the year with 20 interceptions. The Eagles even gave third stringer Rick Arrington a little playing time, but all he could muster was 5 completions on 13 attempts for 46 yards, an interception, and 4 sacks. In Week 10, Larry Watkins ended the Eagles' 12-quarter touchdown drought. Take a good look at it because it's the only touchdown run by an Eagles running back all year long. By far and away, the most outstanding offensive player on the Eagles was wide receiver Harold Jackson, who led the NFL in receptions and receiving yardage. Harold Carmichael's second NFL season was 1972, and even though he only caught 20 passes for the second straight season, he was about to flourish. In 1972, he was the team's third highest scorer with 12 points. He was switched from tight end to wide receiver in 1972, and his huge frame made for an inviting target for Eagles quarterbacks. He only started 2 games in 1972, but the following year he would lead the NFL in receptions and receiving yardage. Here's Carmichael's first NFL touchdown. Tom Dempsey led the Eagles in scoring with 71 points. He didn't have a very good year, however, even though in Week 9 he made 6 field goals from 12, 20, 22, 33, 38, and 52 yards, which accounted for all of the Eagles scoring in their 18-17 win against the Oilers.